All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been like a good week, I think, since we've seen each other. How are you doing? Hope everything is going well. As you can see, a few little changes here in the studio. Still a bit of a mess. um, things are everywhere, but we're getting pretty close to getting done on this studio here. Kevin, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Hang on a second. I messed up my comments thing here. I always got to remember I have to open this stuff up in Chrome. Okay, so I think we're still good here. Let me close this down. Hopefully I'm not going to lose the stream. Let me hang on a second. Testing. Oh, okay, there we go. We got Rolando's coming in there. Perfect. Yeah, the blurred studio looks cool. Yeah, Kevin's saying sweet lights. Yeah, thanks. No, I appreciate that. I'm rocking. How many lights we got? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 lights here. They're all not too too crazy, but yeah, it's the studio is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, well, I got a message here. What's going on here? Right, interactive map. Okay, just some client stuff going on there. Anyways, yeah, so lots of stuff going on here in the background. So this is going to, where am I pointing at? This is going to be the table, the podcast table set up. And there's, so the cameras are going to be hanging off of here. Anyways, I'll give a tour at some point anyways. But yeah, there's going to be 3 cameras set up. One camera pointing out to everyone. And then the 2 cameras pointing at each of the guests. And then there's a TV, obviously, right here in the background. Which we could throw up anything on there, which is kind of really cool. And there's a few other things that are to come. But yeah, in terms of the electricity bill, I have no idea. I obviously I'm only running these lights when I'm, when I'm working. So I obviously either when I'm going to be live streaming or when I'm going to be actually doing an actual podcast. So. So yeah, that tour is more promised than the tax cuts than a politician. Listen, read my lips. No new taxes. It's come. Well, the studio's got to get finished. We're getting pretty close. I have one more thing that's on order, and it's supposed to be here tomorrow. So once that thing gets installed, I think we'll be good to go with everything. Just minus a few other little details here, but it's coming. I promise it's coming. But yeah, anyways, how have you guys been? Hopefully you guys have been good. I've been obviously really busy trying to figure out what the hell is going to be going on here for this, for this live stream, and of course for the whole Build $1 Million business, all that kind of stuff. So I figure we can just kind of get into it, where I've kind of put together more of my thoughts, and I think I've kind of solidified things into a cohesive way forward. But actually, Ronald, I'll let you know what the electricity bill ends up being. But these are all LED lights, so I don't think sorry. So there's 100 watts up above. Then there's 2 other ones that are like 60 watts. So yeah, it might end up being a lot. So I try not to keep them on unless I want some ambiance or whatever when the kids are in here. But yeah, so I'll let you know how that goes. Hopefully it's not too bad. That's one thing that we need to figure out. Yeah, as my grandfather said, I'll be right back. I'm going for cigarettes. All right, man. We'll see you soon. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, so yeah, so let's get right into all the things that I was kind of been musing over my head over the past week. And where do I go now? It's been like so long. I think it's this button. Yeah, here we go. All right. So we're sharing the screen. Okay. So yeah, last week I basically kind of came on here and says, you know what? I really don't think that I want to be a web designer anymore. It doesn't really, creatively, I don't feel like I'm challenged. And also I don't feel as if like the passion's just not there anymore. I don't really enjoy doing it per se. Although I'm pretty decent at it, and I have my clients, I love my clients, and I'm still going to be working for them because I love the work that they're doing. And I find myself always being gravitated towards the work that they're doing, and me helping them be able to do their work as opposed to just creating a website for people. So I've been kind of having that as the back of my mind, or having that in the back of my mind as really gravitating towards what other people are doing and what their purpose is and all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, it's I've been really trying to figure out what is it that is my why, and how could I articulate what my why is. And if you've ever read anything by Simon Sinek, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's really good. I have his book. It's not here. I should have brought it in. But I think it's called Start with Why. And then there's also like Find Your Why or something like that. But anyways, it's red. It says start with. It's a white book with red or pink titles. It says Start with Why. Look him up. It's a fantastic book. Although he's quite an Apple fanboy, so he talks a lot about Apple, which I can definitely relate to, even though I'm not so much of an Apple fanboy myself. But it's really, really good. And so then I kind of figured out what my why is and kind of put this pen to paper. And basically, I think what it comes down to is, for me, not I think, I'm pretty sure I know this, but what I want to do is I want to be able to inspire people just to become the best versions of themselves. And then so that together we can make the world a better place. And it sounds a little bit cheesy and pie in the sky and stuff, and I kind of agree on that. But at the same time, one of the things that have stuck with me throughout my life is that, you know, the only thing and the only way that you're ever going to really get to the place that you want to be is that if you put forth the work to become that person yourself. So a lot of people talk about nowadays too is that, you know, no one's going to come to save you. Don't rely on the government, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, that kind of boils down to, if you want to get somewhere, you have to do it yourself, right? And I think a lot of people want to get there, myself included, but don't know how to get there. You know, because it seems almost as if the things that we want to do and the people that we want to become seem almost unsurmountable. You know, how do I make $1 million, right? How do I lose that weight? All those kinds of things seem to be out of place. And then I find that when a lot of people kind of carrying around more of that negative attitude, or they're not where they're supposed to be, they end up being negative towards themselves and also towards the people around them. Whether that could manifest in, I find that it manifests a lot in that people tend to try to bring other people down by like shitting on their dreams or making them feel ridiculous for even trying to do certain things, because maybe that makes them feel better. It's like, well, I'm not going to be successful, or I'm not going to be where I want to be, so you shouldn't be either as well. So it kind of brings you down, right? So they talk a lot about the, you know, look at the 5 people in your life and you can kind of get an idea of where your life is, kind of thing, or who are the 5 most influential people that you have. And so it's kind of like, if you're in that specific level, the people around you kind of tend to keep you at that level as well. So if you want to get better, you know, I guess the point of what I'm trying to say is that if we all can achieve and aspire to become better than we are, then I think that when we all have that mentality, or most of us have that mentality, it can help us do that for everyone. And if everyone kind of gets on this, you know, we're going to be the best that we can be so that we can provide more value to other people and be good to other people, I think that'll make the world a much better place, where people are striving to become the best that they can be, as opposed to just sitting down, complaining, and blaming other people for the things that are going wrong, whether that's in the world, politics, whatever in their life, what relationships, all those kinds of things. Start with internally. All right. So all of that being said, how the hell do I get there? And the biggest thing that's a block for me is that it's all fine and dandy that I'm saying that I want to help people or inspire people to become the best versions of themselves. But at the end of the day, I need to be doing that myself. And over the past 2 years, I've really been focusing on one specific thing, and that is trying to make myself financially independent, because that is a very big goal of mine, and it's something that I really want to do. But I've been neglecting a whole bunch of other aspects of what I think and what I want to do to become, you know, the best version of myself. So I need to do that. And that's where this whole podcast comes into place, and this whole thing of talking about the unconventional mindset, because I think that's what the podcast is going to be called. And on that podcast, what I want to do is I just want to explore what it actually means to become the best version of oneself. I don't even know, is it oneself? Is that even spelled correctly? I don't know if that's grammatically correct. Anyways, so I want to explore that. And that means talking to people that I could learn things from, that we could all learn things from, and exploring what it is that they've done to do amazing things, or to do things that, you know, most people just will never be able to think that they can even get there. Whether that means building businesses or accomplishing incredible physical feats, all those kinds of things. So that's it. And then it's also to document my journey. And I always say this, I think it's kind of important. something like this, like when you're talking about self-development, self-improvement or whatever, there's never an end, right? It's never like I've achieved peak, health. That's it. It's never going to get better. And that, and I've gone where I can go. There's always room for growth. There's always more that you can do. So it's documenting that journey and documenting the process as I work towards trying to achieve that vision. So obviously I've done one part of this, which is this live stream and documenting the process of trying to build a company. But I think there's other ways that I can kind of tweak what it is that I'm doing and how I'm documenting the journey in order to make it more sustainable for me and just make it probably more, I'm not gonna say more entertaining, but more digestible for people, I guess, if that makes any sense. Anyways, we'll talk a little bit more about kind of what the plan is. And so the idea is, spend the first little bit of this new direction, this new business, is do the things that I need to do to transform and redesign my life and to how I want to live and how I want my life to go. And then hopefully if I can do that, say it takes the next 6 months or a year to document a few of the different processes of things that I take myself into the next level, and then that can hopefully serve as inspiration. And then I have here, in other words, it's like basically, it's like if you want to be a bodybuilder coach, as an example, like you probably would be served well if you were really ripped and had really big muscles, as opposed to being some fat guy that, can't lift, 10 pounds or whatever. Like it's probably no one's really going to pay. I mean, you might know everything that there is to know about bodybuilding, right? So I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying it's probably easiest if you can actually do what you preach in a sense, right? So the idea, establish trust and authority, right? So who am I to, again, I'm not here right now teaching anybody how to build $1 million business because I've never done it before. That's not what I'm here to do. However, if I could document the process and I get to that point where I do build $1 million business, say that takes a year, 2 years, however long it's going to take, then once I get there, then I could start talking about, hey, you know what? Here are the things that I've learned, and here are things I could condense it and put it together in a package of like, here's kind of what worked for me. Here's my thoughts and ideas on how you too can get there, right? So that's when you go from, it's almost like going from the student to the teacher in a sense, right? So that's what I'm hoping this whole thing could kind of lean towards. Okay, so with that being said, I have this little thing here. It doesn't really make too much sense, maybe without any kind of explanation, but it's kind of how things flowing from top to bottom. So as I said before, the main thing, the number one thing that I'm going to be focusing on is the one thing, and that is the podcast. So that is the big meat and potatoes. It's called The Unconventional Mindset, and it's going to be a weekly podcast, and it's going to be talking to people that are obviously interesting people. We want to have this to be a very entertaining show. And it's around the whole topic of, how you can learn to be a better person. And of course, I do believe a lot of the stuff initially are going to be framed around the things that you need to do in order to be a successful business person, to be a successful entrepreneur, because that's obviously one of the key things that I'm focusing on right now. But there's also other things that I will be focusing on in the not too distant future as well too. That is all part of this whole thing, and I think it'll be very interesting to expand into those other topics as well, not just specifically for business stuff. And then there's this live stream, and I think initially what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to one live stream a week, but make it much, much more engaging and really have it, the way that I'm thinking about it is it's a companion to what the podcast is going to be. So the podcast is going to be a thing that we could listen to, we can get information, we can learn from the guest and learn from the person that we're speaking with. And then in a live stream, we can figure out how we could implement that into the things that we're doing, and we can have more of a live communication, workshopping, lunch and learn kind of thing where we can get together and we can figure out how we can move forward given that information that we just learned, as well as possibly use this as a tool and a time to being able to bring in, like like every live stream, I want to have a live guest. So use that as a tool to bring on somebody that can teach us specific things that we can do, especially if the big part of it is we're going to be talking about business stuff, what we can do in the realm of business or whatever. So as another example, maybe there's something where there's a season in our life where we're really interested in weight loss or losing weight or whatever the case may be. Bring on somebody that could give us strategies or whatever for how to do that, because that, being healthy and whatever should be a big part of most people's life in terms of, being a better person, right? Or trying to be, the best person. So the other thing that I'm going to be working on, again, this stems from the whole podcast and the whole idea of, how do we become better? And it's one thing that I've been, thinking a lot about the why I do what I do or what I do want to do, is to inspire people to become the best version of themselves. And I also love the creative process as well too. And as you can see, obviously from the studio and the live stream and all the camera stuff, I love cameras, I love video, I love photography, all that kind of stuff. I think that's really surpassed my passion from web design, because that was kind of an artistic pathway for me. But I think the video stuff is I even love it even more. So what I'm going to be doing is there's no set time frame for how many of these I'm going to release. Maybe it's only going to be a couple a year, who knows what. But to create these mini documentaries or these short films that document the process of, there's a certain part of my life, say that I want to improve. And then while I'm documenting that, I can create a definitely more condensed video of showcasing the journey from 0 to 100. I know I just said before, there's no end game to that journey, but for example, I have examples here, like building $1 million business. If I could figure out how to create a nice 30-minute video showcasing everything that I've gone through to get to that point, I think that would be a really cool thing that I think people would enjoy to watch. I know I would enjoy watching something like that. Another example I have is, losing 50 pounds in 50 days. So one of the things that I have on my plate of things that I need to do is start to lose a whole bunch of body fat. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start by getting down to the weight that I know that I need to be at and losing that weight as quickly as possible, documenting that process, right? So not a live stream or anything like that, but just like, hey, I can make a short documentary showcasing what I've done, how I've done it, or whatever, right? Or whatever the case may be. I just put 50 pounds in 50 days because I'm a big hockey fan. And 50-50 is a big, huge thing for hockey, scoring 50 goals in 50 days. Not very many people do it. It's very rare. I think there's only a handful of people that are actually part of the 50-50 club. Anyways, right? Something like that, right? And there could be other things that happen in the future, but that's just something that I know that I can use to supplement and drive people towards the podcast, right? Or they could go kind of both ways. I guess the podcast could drive to the videos could drive to the podcast. And then the other thing as well too is having a website. So, and that is the home base for all my content. And the stuff that I'm listing out here, this is not everything that is going to be ready day one. This is stuff that I'm just kind of laying out. If I had my perfect plan, at least for over the next year or so, this is kind of the stuff that I would have out that would be like the business. So anyway, so the website, just odoom.ca, just my website. And that's just, it serves as the home base for all the content, right? And on the website, there'd be a newsletter. So that's where, you got to have a way to generate leads. So that's like a bare minimum of something to have. And having a newsletter, I'll just call it the 1% better. So just not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but just a weekly newsletter, whether it's just talking about the things that I've learned, the things that I'm reading, things that I'm trying to implement, what I have learned, what are the lessons that I've taken, what are the successes, failures, something very simple, but some way to keep in communication with the people that in some way, shape, or form have submitted their interest into the stuff that I do, right? Oh, excuse me. And then lastly, off the website, again, not something that's going to happen right off the bat, but to have a membership portion of the website. And whether it's membership or digital products and how that's going to work, I'm not exactly sure. So I know, Rolando, you've talked a lot to me about this in terms of don't be afraid to sell things, even if it's small things or whatever. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I can incorporate this kind of stuff into the website. But I'm just having a membership, and I have this idea calling it Project 365, where every day we're working towards being better, right? We're not taking days off in that sense. It's just like, it's a continual thing where we're always working to be better, right? So the people that have that kind of mindset or want to adopt that kind of mindset, can come and become a membership, and there's a place where we can all kind of hang out or whatever the case may be, right? And in that, what do we have? There's digital products that people can have. So whether that's spreadsheets or templates, and I'd say templates, not so much of like web design templates, but more of templates of, here's my business financial templates of how you can track your finances and how much cash flow or whatever a business is having, or a template that I've used to track weight loss, or the template that I use to track who's going to be on the podcast, or whatever. All those kinds of things. You can have those as things that people that are members, they can have access to those products. Artwork as well too. So say I start getting into artwork because it's something that like actual like digital art or whatever. Or photography, whatever the case may be. If there's anything like that, wallpapers, whatever, just kind of throw it up there. Just some goodies, for memberships. And then there could be some paid courses as well too. So I'm just listing out here the things that I know that I'm actually good at, that I know that I could put together a course to teach, right? So there's podcasting, or at least how to set up the podcast, how to set up an audio system, all that kind of stuff. Or how to even do like live productions. I haven't even put that in there, but doing live hybrid video productions. Which is video production, how to, get a studio ready to do YouTube videos, those kinds of things. Then of course I have web design as well too. If it's something that I feel that my audience would be really, really interested in, is putting together a beginner's guide to how to build a website, a little bit more in depth than what I did with that short video, but having a very in-depth, step-by-step, record the videos and then have the documents with that of how to go from A to Z for a specific website. That's something that I could provide as well. So just little things like that. Again, just jotting down ideas. There could be project progress reports, right? So if I'm not going to be doing live stream videos every day where I kind of talk about my progress or whatever, maybe this is something that could be a members only thing, or it could be some kind of additional content where every week I sit down or whatever and go through my income generations and the profits, the losses, all that kind of stuff. So that could be something that could be specific for members as well, because a specific project that I'm working on right now is the build $1 million business. Like that's a specific project, right? And losing 50 pounds, 50 days, that's another specific project. So there could be some behind the scenes information from that as well too. And then just have like a general office hour. So like once a month or something like that, where, for a few hours, I'll just hop on Zoom. All the members will get a Zoom link, and then we can just sit down, we can chat face to face, whatever. People can ask me questions or whatever, just a chance to talk and interact with members. Again, throwing out ideas, just kind of thinking again of the future, how this could look like, and how I could try to get myself to get to the point where I could monetize it enough so that I could, not have to worry about putting food on the table in a sense, right? Where I could really have this as my main driver and then use that as a stepping stone to move forward, in terms of having more podcasts in a week. Instead of going for weekly, then it goes bi-weekly, twice a week. I guess bi-weekly could be every second week or twice a week. Anyways, I think you guys know what I'm trying to say here, right? So yeah. So that's kind of the whole idea of what I have installed in mind for the Unconventional Mindset, the podcast, and how things are going to get disseminated to people. So hopefully it's all related. And again, this whole stuff with the website is kind of a little bit off to the side, but the podcast and the live stream, those are the two big things that I'm going to be working on. So what's next? So how the hell am I going to do all this kind of stuff? And I just kind of put an idea of the rough outlines and the rough things that I think I need to get done over the next few weeks. So obviously, number one is to finish setting up the studio. There's a big mess here behind me, but we're getting closer. And we've done some work here before. Thanks again so much to you, Kevin, with helping us out with Notion. But I haven't even had time to sit down with Andrea to coordinate exactly what the final structure is going to look like for how we're going to be reaching out and tracking the people that we're going to want to talk to and have on the podcast as a guest. And then, of course, also have on the live stream as well, too, if it doesn't make sense for them to be coming down here in person, if they're on the other side of the world, as an example, and we don't have the money to fly anybody out just quite yet. So we need to figure out all that. Need to shut down Pixel Pieces. So I think that's going to make the most sense. It's costing not a ton of money, but enough money that it doesn't make sense to keep up anymore, especially since we haven't we didn't sell one membership basically, right? So we're paying over $100 Canadian anyways a month just on the member stack and the affiliate marketing. So that needs to be shut down, and then might as well shut everything down while we're there. So that's going to need to get down. And then along that same veins is like, let's just review everything that Pixel is paying for, especially on the subscription model. There's so many subscription models and subscription software that we're using, and just remove all the things that we're not actually going to be using here on a day-to-day basis anymore. So just kind of trim off some of the fat that we've accumulated here over the past 2 years of doing business, which is kind of crazy. So, and then I have here just rework pixel.ca to accurately showcase the services that I offer. And this is one thing that I've been thinking about. And I'm not sure how this fits in, but I haven't put it in on any of my flow charts or anything like that, because I don't really see it as something that I necessarily want to go. But that being said, I've been having some discussions with some of my clients about potentially offering some services to help them with their content creation, and whether that's bringing people here into the studio to do some recording or to do some podcasting or have other people come in and using the studio. It really kind of has some potential for me to offer some of these more content creation type services. So I think it will make sense for me to rework Pixel a little bit, spend that, at most one day just redoing that to showcase what services we offer. And of course, if somebody comes in, they still want a website or whatever, that's still kind of part of content. But use that more as a service. So if they want the website, but also want me to help manage them, so it'll be this recurring thing. I think that makes more sense for me in my business model than to just build somebody a website and done. Then anyways, just keeping that in mind and just reworking that in case anything does come out on my plate. And maybe it's a direction that I'm going to want to go, but probably not, because what I really want to do is I want to have a podcast and I want to talk to people and I want to do that. I don't want to do the nitty-gritty recording stuff for other people or doing that kind of stuff, right? I guess at the grand scheme of things, long term is I want to have a very successful podcast, right? So I want to spend as much time as possible doing that and making sure that does become a reality. So number 6, just create a very simple website, which just has the newsletter function. I think I have that already basically, but just maybe not with ConvertKit, because I think I want to switch over to them because I think I like their free plan, which again, trying to trim some of this fat and not pay money for services that we don't need anymore. Prepare our social media accounts for the podcast and the live stream as well too, because one of our main goals and our main, not main goals, but our main, how do we say this? We talked about a couple weeks ago our objectives as to the type of content that we're going to be creating. And we're going to be using TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, of course, to create a lot of short form content to help generate and drive traffic towards the main podcast. So we're going to be creating a whole lot more individual pieces of content than we have been now. That's going to be a huge, huge focus for us. So we want to make sure that we're just ready for that. And that's pretty simple. It's just making sure that I actually have accounts for, the unconventional mindset or whatever. And then, of course, just whatever needs to be done. There's a lot more little things that are not going to be, I didn't put on here in this presentation, is just get ready to launch the podcast in January. Now, I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take in terms of getting people to, it's getting close to Christmas season and, people are very busy, and I don't think that now is the best time to start to have people over. I don't know. I'm gonna start reaching out to people. I shouldn't say starting. I've already reached out to a few people. They said yes, but it's just a question of when that's going to be. So we need to figure that out. But anyways, regardless, I'd like to launch sometime in January, probably mid-January. I would love to launch January 1, but I don't think I'm going to be able to record enough episodes to be able to do that, because I think I want to launch with 3 or 4 ready to go. I think that would make the most sense. So then we can make kind of an event out of it. And then we could also have different people that are talking and allow people to binge a few episodes to kind of get a little hooked on the unconventional mindset and just have a really good launching point. Instead of just one podcast, then that's it, right? So that's kind of the idea and the plan. And I think, that's all that I have here for for my ideas on moving forward. So I would absolutely love to hear what you think. If you have any feedback for me, I'm gonna shut this thing down here. Hang on a second. Now there we go. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you think. Love to hear what you think of the new direction, or at least flushing out more of what that new direction is going to be. And I do know that I'm pretty excited. I'm not pretty excited. I'm really excited. I'm really stoked. I've just been watching this whole Office Space kind of come together, and I've just been like, wow, this is so good. It turned out even better than I thought it would be in terms of how like comfortable and cozy it feels, because I was a little worried that this room was a little bit too small. But I think it's going to be a great place for me to welcome guests, have great conversations, and just really go from there. So super looking forward to it. In terms of the schedule, I don't know, like the live stream schedule. I'm not sure exactly what my schedule is going to be. I'm probably going to pop in and out at random, but for sure every Monday, because at least once a week is a good time to at least have a recap and just kind of let you guys know what's going on. But yeah, I think there might be something like if I want to do the website stuff, like maybe I'll just pop in and just do that on the live stream just anyways, because that's kind of what we're building. And maybe if there's other things that business wise that makes sense that I'm going to be sitting on the computer doing, that I'll just kind of pop on the live stream anyways, and just we would just work on that together and just work on it on stream. But I have no kind of timetable for that. So again, it's probably going to be pretty sporadic until we get to the point where everything is just like launched, and then boom, once I know that, okay, podcasts are going to be every Wednesday, live stream is every Monday, and whatever the schedule is going to be, or maybe it's Tuesday and Thursday. I have no idea. We're going to figure that out. But yeah, so basically pretty sporadic until we get to the point where we have our final schedule. And I do have a question. Do you guys notice any difference in the sound? So I put in, there's a bunch of sound panels that are on the walls now. So I have one right in front of me. And then I have 3 sound panels on each side. And then there's sound paneling. You can see it. Oh my goodness, get my face out of the way. You can see it right here. This is just acoustic wall paneling right here. And it's above the TV as well too. So I feel like it's doing a pretty good job of dampening the sound around here. The one thing that I think I would love to get is just a rug on the hardwood floor. But I don't know. I think I've blown through the budget for this one, so I'm not sure about that. But I think that might help. Anyways, I'd love to know if you guys hear any difference in the sound that's coming in on the stream. So yeah. So that's it. I think that's it. That's it for me. I don't have much to say today, except I'm really excited, and I'm really thankful and grateful for all of you guys for sticking around, and all the all the comments, whether positive or negative or what have you, that have come my way in terms of what you guys think about it. But again, the goal for me, one of the big goals of what I want to do is, of course, I want to create $1 million business. That's like, that's why I've spent all my time the past 2 years worrying about that and trying to make that work, because it's so important to me. Being financially independent, which also means location independent. It means it basically means freedom. And freedom to me is like the most important thing. So I'm working super hard to figure that out. I think what I didn't realize, or what it took me a long time to realize, was that goal to get to that $1 million was so strong that it didn't matter to me, and I'm sure it doesn't matter to a lot of people, but it didn't matter that I was trying to pursue that goal for something that at the end kind of chipped away a little bit at my, I'm not gonna say my soul, but kind of chipped away at me in terms of, not doing the thing that you want to do or the thing that you should be doing. And I know a lot of people end up not even knowing what that thing is. And you could live your whole life without, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because you just, a lot of people just react, right? It's like, well, this happens in life, and, you go to school, you're young, you're 18. What's next? Oh, well, told to go to, this is maybe more my life, told to go to university, then you get married, then you have kids, then you have to provide for the kids, and then before you know it, oh shit, I'm 80 years old and I've just reacted to my life as opposed to spent the time to design that life. Whether even if you don't, you could still get to your $1 million or whatever. But anyways, yeah, I feel that for me, I was going towards that goal, and it didn't really matter how I got there. It was just web design was just made the most sense because that's what I've done for 20 years and I'm pretty good at it. But, the more I worked on it, the more I was like, do I put forth the effort to build something that I know I'm not going to truly, I don't know, it just doesn't, that I just really, really don't enjoy. So I know there's going to be people that are going to disagree with me. And I sometimes even disagree with myself because it's like, hey, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And just kind of almost just kind of suck it up too. And I think there's some merit to that as well too. So, but I think one of the things that I'm lucky enough and grateful for, but I also know that I worked really hard for this as well, is that I've given myself cushioning and like financial cushioning to, and of course with the support of my family, to allow me to experiment with different things and to find the right path towards the right goal for me, And of course that changes, but that's part of the fun of the game, I guess. I don't know. Life is never this linear thing. Otherwise maybe it'd be too boring. I don't know. But yeah, so that's it for me, unless if anyone has any comments or questions. Kevin, Rolando, thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining. Definitely appreciate that. So the next time I do see you guys, more than likely, this office should be done. So no lights just on the floor and all that kind of stuff. Everything should be where it needs to be. And yeah, so at the very latest, I will see you on Monday. Rolando, I just wish you good luck. I appreciate that. The thing that I always say at the back of my mind, absolute worst case scenario in my life is that, nothing ends up working out and I just have to go get myself an actual job. I always think of that's the worst case scenario. And, that's not so bad either, because there's some pretty cool companies out there that I certainly could work for. But yeah, so we're going to keep plugging away and we're going to figure out how to get there. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get there. We'll just have to see how long it's going to take. All right. Take care. Thank you for stopping by. Wishing you all the best of luck as well too. Have yourselves a great rest of your week. Oh, just an observation. The light on your face is darker than the background. Just adjust that. Yeah. So it's darker. Yeah. So, I mean, there's two ways I could adjust it. Obviously I could just turn the lights off in the background to make it a little bit. Oh geez. What's going on here? Like I could just make the background a little bit darker. Yeah, I haven't spent much time trying to figure out exactly what the right light setting is for that. Does this look a little bit better? So I just turned off like some of the background lights there. So maybe that looks a little bit better. Because yeah, I want to make sure that I stick out more from the background than I do. Like the foreground. Yeah, the foreground wants to stick out more from the background. I could probably use some key light here on the back just to make myself stick out a little bit more. But yeah, I'll work on that. I'll work on that. All right. Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, I'll be back here for a new stream probably on Monday, but maybe before then. We'll see. All right, guys. Take care. Oh, one last comment just came in. Another comment. First, define the objective, and based on that, create the content. So your comment here, we're saying define the objective. So I 100% agree with you. You can't just make content for the sake of making content. So I believe that. I have my main objective again, which for me the main objective starts with the whole why. So why am I doing what I'm doing? So that's the main overall company goal, my goal, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, there's smaller ones as well too. And then from there, that trickles down, and then that can definitely guide you in terms of what kind of content to create. So 100% agree with that. Very good advice, and especially to other people here that are listening or watching. Very important to understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing. So then the content that you're creating is going to be matching where it is that you want to go. You know, if your mission is to teach people how to design websites, and then you start creating content about your dog and how much you love grooming your dog, you might not be reaching the right audience based on whatever your objectives or your goals are. So super good advice. Thanks, Rolando. All right, I'm out. Oh, no. I was going to be out. Another comment, which is all good. If the goal is to attract listeners to the podcast, create content with podcast clips. If the goal is to sell space on the podcast, create content about it. Yeah, so for sure, the main goal, I agree with you, the main goal right now is to obviously to attract listeners. And that's the main goal for the live stream, the YouTube channel. The whole thing is we want to build an audience. So we want to attract listeners and we want to get fans. So the way that we get fans, of course, is creating content with clips. And like I said, like 10 minutes ago or whatever it was, creating no, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry, man. It's all good. Podcast clips, that's going to be the main driving, because we watched that video together a couple weeks ago with that guy Callaway, I think his name is, talking about how a Diary of a CEO uses those clips to stir people to the podcast. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be making as many like good quality clips as we can that are going to help drive and funnel people into our podcast. And there's the tricks as well in terms of faking podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So I've set myself up here. There's lots of different things that we can do. And yeah, that's definitely like the overarching business goal of right now is to attract listeners. And yeah, so the more content and the more high quality content that we can publish, the better, which is why I'm pretty excited about taking time away in terms of not doing a live stream every single day towards, spending time on learning Instagram, learning TikTok, learning how I could get the most virality for each like shorts and clips that I do throw out there. So that's going to be a learning process, and that's stuff that, again, whether we talk about that in the live stream or whether you put that on the website, I'm not sure exactly how to disseminate that information and all the learnings that I'm doing, but all I know is that I'm for sure going to want to document it in some shape or form, and then report back, and then of course learn together, and we can kind of figure that stuff out. So that's a really good point. Trying to build the audience. So I thought the goal was to create $1 million business. So you need to create a 3-step funnel: one for listeners, business owners, one for business owners, email lists, and one for sponsors. So what I'm focused on, like Rolando, so the goal is to make $1 million. But the thing is I know once I have listeners, the money follows. So that's the thing. It's I got to create a good product. And of course the product is a great podcast. And then with that comes the step of getting listeners, to your point. So if I focus on that and I have the listeners, the business owners are let's say the sponsors are going to come in. They're just going to notice what I'm doing, or I could reach out to them, but probably they're just going to start contacting me. So that'll happen. People are going to be listening, obviously, because the membership is going to rise. The business owners and the email list. The email list we're already going to have. That's going to be on the website. So that's going to be something that we're going to do. But for me, I think the most important thing is having an audience. You know, if I had 1 million people, not even 1 million, forget 1 million. If I had, say I had 10,000 YouTube subscribers, 10 to 20,000 YouTube subscribers, from what I know from people that have talked about it, you could easily not easily, but from that small of an audience, you can generate really, really good income. Maybe not $1 million, but definitely in the low to mid 6 figures a year, just on, say, sponsorships and advertiser revenues, all that kind of stuff, just from having a small audience. So it's kind of like the if you build it, they will come. Kind of philosophy. But yeah, audience is key. I'm going to worry about the audience. All the things are going to flow, because I know once I have an audience, then I'm going to be able to figure out ways of how I can actually kind of monetize that. And there's a million things that are floating around in my head, and you know, I'll get there when I get there. Have a chat offline when you have the chance. Oh shit, what happened to my comments? I kind of just disappeared. Yeah, we have to have a chat offline. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to get together, yeah, we can get together. Obviously, I'm free now. If you want to have a chance, you want to come on the live stream, you can come on the live stream as well. I could bring you on there, although I haven't figured that quite out yet. I can't figure out how to get that comment off now because my stupid ninja thing has died. Oh, that's weird. Hang on a second. Okay, I was saying do it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Rolando, yeah, if you have any input that you want to put on the live stream, no pressure, no pressure. So if you do, I mean, happy to have you on here. I'll just wait a moment here. That was funny because I think I like signed off like 3 times like 10 minutes ago. That's all good. Give me a chance to change computers. I'll be happy to. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I have to. Yeah. Well, I haven't done any time trying to figure any of this stuff out with the audio and stuff. So hopefully we can get it to work. But it'll be a good opportunity to give it a shot. One thing that I was thinking about, which would be really, really cool, would be like in this office here. I could probably, like, obviously I don't want to get super expensive cameras, but just even cheap, like $40 webcams or whatever, and then set them up into different corners of this office here. And then if there was things that I was doing in a live stream, say I wasn't like just talking to you the whole time, it's just like I'm just working, and it's just like, you know, we're just going to chill together and I'm just going to work. And then just have like a lav mic or whatever. And then I could walk around the whole office and still talk and you guys can hear me just fine. But then we could switch to different cameras depending if I'm like working here or if I'm going on the table and I'm working on the table or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I just figured that would be kind of cool where it's like the whole office in a sense is like wired up for like a live stream. And then it's just doing lots of things like business wise. I don't know. I just thought that would be kind of cool. All right. Oh my goodness. It's funny because I haven't been live streaming. Obviously, used to be every day, and now it's almost now it's for the past couple weeks just been once a week. And it's like, oh man, I just like forget how much like it hurts the throat sometimes when I'm just talking and I don't think to drink enough water. Well, I'll send you the link. Okay, should we do? It didn't work out so well last time, but let's try it again. Let's try a Zoom. Let's give that a go. All right, we got a new meeting here. So I sent you the link via email. Okay. What do we want to do here? I want to go to... I need to go to my Zoom window here. And I need to set up... how can I do this? Sorry guys, I'm just cleaning up my desktop because it's like super messy. All right, skip that. right. How can I do this here? Well, let's bring in another source. So source, we're going to do, I think I need to do a window capture. And I'm going to type in Zoom. Okay. So that'll be a Zoom capture. In fact, actually, Zoom, let's just hide that just for a second. All right. Did the link get through, Rolando? Should have gone through. It's just email. Email is usually pretty reliant these days. So Kevin, how was Thanksgiving? I guess that would have been Thursday, right? Hopefully got to spend some nice time with the family. All right, Rolando's here. You know what I think might be good? Let me try this here. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to turn me off. There we go. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? And I can't hear you. Did I? Okay, let's see. This microphone audio settings. Oh, I can hear you. Yeah, because you're not using your headphones. But then you guys probably can't hear. So I need to probably boost. Boost the audio coming from the computer.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can the audience hear you? Can you say something again?
I don't know what to say.
There we go.
I don't like the cameras, but it's okay.
There we go.
I was telling to you is you need to first define the objective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if the objective is because you need to maintain the podcast, and every podcast need promotion and need sponsors. So that's the way the podcasts want money. They don't want money about with the people who go to the podcast. That's something I learned a few months ago because I was working in ebook for some lawyer here.
Mm-hmm.
We are working right now in a podcast, but here in Mexico it's a little difficult to have audience about allowed topics about the law, about procedure, and everything that. So it's a little hard. So we're working on it, but you need sponsors. That's the way the money comes.
Oh, for sure.
It's the same as you have a radio station. So
yeah.
You need to create a funnel for 3 different buying personas.
I agree.
I was talking to you.
So I agree with you that a podcast for sure needs sponsors in order, at the end of the day, in order for it to be able to make money. We're all not going to get $100 million offers from Spotify like Rogan is, but you're not ever going to get sponsors ever if you don't have an audience, right? So what's more important, right?
Okay. What I was telling you is you need to create the content about the main object. Yes, you need audience.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you need to create content for audience or attract people to your podcast as a I don't know the word. Uh, People who comes to the podcast to talk to you
A guest,
and
a guest.
see, I guess, and uh, a funnel for the sponsors.
Yeah,
That's three different funnels. These three different ways to you need to create content to for attract people for that.
but
There are three different main topics. That's the hard work about around the podcast. It's a lot of work.
for sure it's a lot of work. So the issue with the thing there's a few things that that I'm thinking about when I'm hearing what you're saying is, first and foremost,
My English is very bad today.
I understand. It's quite all right. It's it's better than me speaking Spanish. Tell you that right now, because nobody wants that. Um, so a couple of things that come to my mind is, number one, first and foremost, is that I always want to be serving my audience. And when I hear you talking about tailoring content for the sponsors, I don't ever want to compromise, what I'm going to be talking about or what my, beliefs are, in order just to facilitate maybe making some more money with sponsorships. Do you know what I mean? So I want to be sure that I'm staying true to myself and that my vision is aligned 100% with like what the company is, right? Like, I'm not going to make a podcast on clothing lines and or abolishing slavery or whatever, and then I'm going to hire a company that has child slaves working, in their clothing line. You know what I mean? Like, just for the money. Like, I need to make sure everything
And I
aligns.
think I'm not. I can explain me very well because I think here are miscommunication topic. When I say you need to create content for the sponsors, that means you need to go to LinkedIn and create content there for the sponsor, because that's where the sponsors are.
So could you give me an example? Like, so the podcast,
Okay.
the
Okay, let's see. You will be creating content. Where will be the main platform for the podcast?
YouTube,
Video
Spotify,
podcast?
Apple, and Google Podcasts. So like,
Okay,
it'll be distributed on those four main networks.
okay. You need to create content about the topic of the podcast in Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. Okay, about the content of the podcast.
So
Don't
you're not even talking about just making clips of the content. You're talking about making, like, not clips of the podcast, but you're talking
maybe clips, maybe writing content, something. Okay,
okay.
I can see the comments. So if there comment, please read it. Okay, let me do something here too. I can. Okay. Okay. If you okay, my image is very bad. Let me see that. Okay. Mm, okay. Okay. For the podcast, you need to create content around the topic you speak in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for the sponsors, you need to create content about how my podcast is an example. How my podcast have 1,000 listenings in 3 days, something like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but that content is maybe a video content, a writing content, something, but in the platform where the sponsors are, and the sponsors are in LinkedIn, maybe Facebook, maybe that's the thing that is very very hard with the uh, creating a podcast. The
Mm.
the amount of content you need to create because you have three different audience,
Yeah.
very very different audience.
Yeah. This is interesting. So I've never really heard it that way. So I don't know if you know of a guy named Pat Flynn. He runs Smart Passive Income. He's done lots of, he has this Power Up Podcasting. I think it's a course. It's like, I don't know, he has courses or whatever, education content on how to build out like a podcast. And I've never paid for any of his courses, so I don't know for sure, but I've listened to a lot of his live streams. And one of the messages he really preaches is about just at the first thing, you just really need to worry about creating a really good podcast that
Yeah, and then
Kevin,
he sell
you
you,
know,
and then he sell you the course, isn't it?
yeah, no, you can tell no, but he's I guess what he's saying for
Because his business is not about the podcast. His business is the content is about the sell the course.
that's his
It's
for
not
sure.
about the podcast.
No, for sure. For him, absolutely, that's his that's his that his deal, and that's what he's selling. But he tells people when he's teaching people, he says the number one thing that you need to really worry about is to build an audience, because you'll never get sponsors, you'll never get anything if you don't have an audience. So don't worry initially about trying to get sponsors, because you have to get people first. So build the community, build that first. Spend all your time worrying about that. And then once you get traction, then I feel like you can worry about getting sponsors. So for me right now, like you're talking about making 3 different sales funnels, but I just want to focus on making the one sponsor and having, or sorry, the one audience and just, or the one, I want to focus on the one avenue, and that is just getting an audience, right? Like once I have people, I can divert my time towards other things. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know what you guys all think. Or Kevin, if you have any thoughts on this, but I really feel that I don't want to get pulled into multiple different directions. And
No, you are not. You are not going to different directions. It's different funnels because this is a business,
mm-hmm.
and a business needs money. That's
Right.
simple.
I mean, as an yeah, Kevin says feels like putting the cart before the horse. Do the podcast, see what hits. Because that's the thing. The thing as well too is, I think a lot of the times I'm going to be jumping around in different themes. Like as an example, say I bring in an accountant, and it's going to be a podcast, and we have a great discussion on what people can do as a small business in order to be more efficient with their money. As an example, just say we have that type, that's the podcast. How do I then take that content and turn it around in a way like what you're saying in order to make it more appealing to sponsors? Like what would I do for that?
Creating content about the numbers of the podcast.
Okay, so that's almost like making a media kit in a sense, right? We're saying, hey, listen, this is my podcast. This is the general audience. Here are information on how many downloads I get per month, what engagement I get. Here's my thing on YouTube. Here's my thing on Instagram. Here's my TikTok. Here's all the hits and whatever I
This
get.
is how I do this. This is how
Okay.
I accomplish this.
Yeah.
That's the content for the sponsors.
So that makes perfect
Because the
sense.
sponsors, because the sponsors need to see the numbers
Yeah.
to can invest
I
for
see what you're
some.
saying. I see. I think I see 100% now what you're saying. So it's not specifically as if I'm making various YouTube shorts that are specifically for sponsors in terms of talking about the topic in a different way, but it's putting together information on what it is that I'm doing that they can have.
Yes.
That 100%.
Yeah.
That's a great thing because you need to be able to show, like if a sponsor reaches out, says, "Hey, I
Yes.
saw that you
And
had
you
a
need to
podcast."
create an email list about the sponsors, around the sponsors.
So what do you mean when
An
you
email
say?
list, what an email list about when the people who wants to be a sponsor can contact to you.
Right. So
That's another funnel.
when you say email, so that's almost as if, like a contact form on a website or.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
That's,
for a
yeah.
sponsor.
Or for sponsors. So like,
Exclusive for sponsors.
yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just a way for them to be able to reach out to you or
contact you.
what have you. And then you just put that into whatever system you
Yeah.
want to track them or what have
And
you.
you need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
create a small presentation to send them when they contact to you.
If they want. Yeah, I've heard of people saying that they basically have like a media kit basically where it's like a 5-page thing of like, yeah, here's what I do, here's whatever. But again, too, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's very, very important, but it's right now, like I'm not going to spend any time making that right now because number one, I haven't even launched yet. So I don't even have any guests. So like I'm going to focus my work on getting guests, getting all the high quality content put out there when I do a video or podcast, strip it up into 20 different shorts or however many different pieces of content, focus on that over the first couple months, see what's going to happen with what traction I'm getting and how many people are downloading and watching the show. And once I start to get that kind of traction, then I'll start to put together different things, especially once I think I almost want to wait to see what the response of people are going to be to the show before I go out and worry about getting sponsors and stuff too.
The business podcasts have a very niche audience.
Right, but mine's going to be beyond that. I do think
Something like the White Show in Spain.
that's
Something like that.
yeah. I'm not familiar. Is that the one that you sent me there?
Yeah.
The other day. Yeah.
They can speak about the conspiracy theories, about nutrition, about everything.
Yeah.
They don't care. But the podcast is maybe the videos are around 4-6 hours.
Yeah.
long.
Very long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be different audience between
Yeah.
laws, small business accounting.
And so
Yes,
this.
that's true.
So yeah, and so what Kevin's saying here, it's a really good point too, because if my idea, a high level, is to talk to people about the different things that people can do in order to build the life that they want, right? Some people are going to be interested in weight loss. Some people are going to be interested in building a business. Some people are going to be interested in finding a girlfriend or whatever that, there could be all kinds of different things. So it's like, how do we mesh that where it's more of a
But in the
lifestyle?
end, it's one person persona. At the end, it's one user persona. Only one user persona. People who like to listen podcast.
Yeah. So then it becomes more
with the data. You need to. You will see the range of age.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one by persona.
Yeah. We'll
not different audience.
Yeah.
Is one audience.
Yeah.
People who like to listen to podcasts.
Well,
maybe like podcast, audio podcast, or maybe video podcast.
Yeah.
But one by persona.
I think we could get a little bit more specific than just people that like to listen to podcasts, because it could be
personal.
There's the one thing that's a little bit tricky in order to, when I'm starting, to nail down like what my niche is.
By the way, Kevin, I'm in my house and I'm not smoking. It's just the cigarette, but I'm not smoking.
It's just for show.
Yeah, it's just uh, my addiction. So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
That and the coffee.
Coffee. Yeah. That's actually one of the things that I don't. You
Because
know.
here in Mexico, here in Monterrey right now, we are cold. We are around the, I don't know, 60 degrees, something like that. For us, it's very cold.
Mm,
Coffee, that's why I can't do it.
yeah, the
No, sorry.
sweater. Well, you were saying too. Yeah, it's like -2 or something like that out today, and I'm wearing shorts. So.
You have bad the thermostat. You have problems. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's what I try to tell you is you need to create different content for different audience,
Yeah.
for different purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I do appreciate that. So I think one of the things that we're going to see here is what are the numbers going to start look like when we first launch, and then one thing I'd kind of ask you is at what
I'm not
stage of building and what stage of growing does it make sense to start trying to create that content? Because I feel like if unless you have
at the first
unless you're
first thing
no, but see, I don't want to go out and get sponsors right now. Like even if someone came up to me
right
right now,
now. You need
well,
money.
why? So
Every business needs money.
if I'm going to, yep, okay, a couple things. For me, oftentimes advertisements for me throw me off. Like I hate listening to ads, and there'll be specific episodes or things that if people are putting too much ads, I don't even listen because it's that obtrusive to me. Like I hate it. So, and of course, if I'm trying to engage with people that think like me, I know that it's going to be intrusive as well. So I don't want to start off by seeing as if I'm this person that just sells out to corporate greed and that I'm just doing this for the money, because that's not what the
Don't
goal
you?
is. No. Like, again, the whole thing about the why statement, which I said, what I really want to do, like what my life's purpose is, and if I was doing this would be amazing to me, is to again inspire people to live the best possible life that they can live. That's what I really want to do. Obviously, I want to have money and make $1 million and be financially free. I want that, but I don't want to do that at the expense of what my ultimate goal is. So for me, I don't want to take
Provide to the
money.
family.
Sorry?
Provide to the family.
Of course, but I
So
mean, I
what?
could provide with my family right now. I could just keep doing what I'm doing and I'd be fine. But for me, there has to be a balance. And I hear what you're saying and I understand what you're saying. I just don't think I agree with it in that
Okay.
for me,
Kevin is asking about what you are drinking. I
uh,
just sent a tequila
try, yeah,
to him. That's what he's drinking.
yeah, no, absolute vodka. Yeah, no, just water today. We'll get into everything else later. But yeah, so like if I'm just starting out and it's like, hey guys, this is the first episode of Unconventional Mindset. Let me introduce you to our sponsor, blah, 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 whatever this thing is. They're a great
Why not? Here in
number,
Mexico, it's
because
very common,
well, it's not
and
from,
it's very, very huge
yeah,
podcast.
I wouldn't do that because that's not what I want to be seen as. I don't want to be seen as someone that just does things for the money. And why would I advertise or accept an advertisement when I don't even have an audience? Because also for me, if I have an audience for people that are really trying to improve their life, right? They're looking at me, they're like, I want to figure out how to do business. I want to figure out how to lose weight, whatever the case may be. I don't want to advertise and sell them something that might not even be in their best interest. So I'd want to really make sure that things align. So that's why I say for me, in my mindset, the way that I think about things is if I get to the point I have 10,000 people, 20,000 people, 50,000 people, people are going to be coming to me and asking to advertise on my platform because I have a large audience. And then I'm going to be able to pick and choose who I want. And then I could have one sponsor that's going to pay me $100,000 or whatever for a year or whatever the case may be. And it could be something that really aligns with my message, right? It could be whatever, something that I use on a daily basis or whatever, right? So that's just my thinking and philosophy about that. That's maybe more pie in the sky, but in terms of like right now, I want to build an audience, and I'm not worrying so much about attracting those premium advertisers because they're not going to be here now. Anybody that I would want to work with is not going to sponsor me now because I have no audience. So, but that's just me.
That's where you,
like even if Adobe, for example, say this was a web design podcast and Adobe came to me and says, "Oh,
that's where your sales skills come to play, man."
Well, yeah, but say Adobe comes to me and says, "Hey, Odum, I want to sponsor your podcast for $50,000 or whatever," and this whole time I've been shitting on Adobe, saying how terrible they are, but I'm going to start a podcast. I wouldn't take them on as a sponsor and be like, "Hey guys, this is sponsored by Adobe." I wouldn't do that because there wouldn't be a match. Yeah.
Okay, I understand you. I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was writing to.
Yeah. I don't want to speak for Kevin, but he made that comment too of not putting the cart before the horse, and I think what he's saying from that is, and this could be again this could be a difference, between Mexico and Canada, and maybe the States as well too, is that the way that a lot of people that I've seen that are running content channels or content media is that you build the audience first, and then once you have the audience, then like you said, then you can put together a package that says, "Hey, here's my audience, here's how many downloads I'm getting." Then you go out and get the sponsors from there.
Just one question, okay? The people, do you hear that tactic sell purchase?
I can't answer that because I don't know anybody personally that does this. This is just anecdotally from hearing people on YouTube.
For the if the people remember, if you don't sell a product, you are the product.
Correct. If you don't, correct. Not all the time, but
all the time, man. Give me one example where you're not.
Okay. Hang on. Let me see it. Let me see if I can bring something up. So I'm just gonna bring up this guy because I really like this guy's podcast, and we were talking about this. So you know the guy who does Diary of a CEO? You know that? Do you know that podcast?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Let me bring this up.
Send me the link.
If you just on YouTube type in Diary of a CEO, I'm sure it'll show up there. Or Spotify or whatever. This might play loud.
China.
Okay. Oh, this is on. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. So he has this podcast, and obviously it's free to listen to. Everything's kind of free. And in terms of what he sells, he's got all his product stuff that he has, right? So he has this diary book you can have. He has these cards or whatever the case. So the way he's making money from his, like, obviously I imagine he's doing some ads or whatever. Oh, Victor, did I miss something? Yeah, we're just, we are Friday Live. Yeah. Friendly fight. Yeah, we're just talking about how to make money with a podcast. So anyways, so this guy, the way that he's making money is he's selling products. And I think even for me, that would be a great way to go. Whereas it's not so much that I'm having sponsors coming in, and that's the only way that the podcast is going to make money. But to build a website that has products or whatever, because like I said in my, I don't know if you missed it, but if I have a website where I'm selling different products, selling a membership or whatever, and have that kind of community, that's also
the people. Enjoy the conversation.
That's also people. Sorry, I'm going to read these comments. That's also people. I don't know if that's what you mean in terms of people being the product, because they'd be coming in and they'd be like a paying member, right? So, yeah, we're just over here drinking and smoking on stream. Normal Monday business, everyday business. Yeah, Victor's he's all for it. So yeah, because I think having sponsors, that's one way for you to be able to make money, right? It's not the only way if you have a podcast, right? So if I have a podcast, I have an audience. And if you have an audience, you can sell them stuff, right? Like say I made, I don't even know what it could be. Say even mugs. Say there was an unconventional mindset mug, and then you get to the point where 5% of your audience
It's Steve Bartlett, isn't it?
Yes, Stephen Bartlett. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sells speaking tours. He sells speakings. Sell her books.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of things.
Yeah, that's a businessman.
But that's what I'm saying. That to me is where I'd rather go as opposed to sponsorships. That's also another thing too. Because sponsors, they're great if you could line up the right sponsor. But I would rather again.
But the main end of this person, is sell the speaking, sell the books. So that's the main object. It's not the podcast. The podcast is only the way he's doing it.
It's the avenue, yeah, and then he has other businesses and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he's got tons of stuff for sure, for sure.
That's why I was talking to you.
Yeah,
I was talking to you about the main object. You need to create content around that.
Yeah. So for me, what I would say is the reason that he's able to do all of these things is because number one is because he has an audience. That to me is the most important thing. He would not be where he is, and he could not sell any of this stuff if his podcast was not successful. Like he wouldn't be there. Same thing with Joe Rogan. He would be nowhere if people weren't watching his stuff. So once you have the audience, then you could go ahead and sell your, Victor's saying this, that you need an audience, everything else comes after that. Yeah, exactly. So once we have the audience, then we could sell them this book. Then I could go speaking. People invite me to speaking. I could have, there's all kinds of different avenues. Then I could use that money, the revenue that the podcast is generating, even just on YouTube as an example. And then I can create the software that I've always wanted to create. And I can hire other people to do that. There's so many avenues to make money once you have an audience. The whole king of what people say about marketing right now and the whole new age of everything is it's all about attention. If you can have people's attention, you can do so much with that in that sense. Just like the whole Mr. Beast. All his things, why he's worth so much money is because he has such a huge audience and he gets the attention of hundreds of millions of people, whatever the case may be, right? It's not about him creating.
If you want a tequila, please say hi.
So
I understand what you saw.
Yeah. And I totally understand exactly where you're saying as well too. He smiles. So I hear 100% too what you're saying in order to, if I do want to attract sponsors, especially when I'm kind of in the beginning stages or I have a few thousand people, making some kind of media kit and making content and packages specifically for those sponsors to let them know what they're going to be getting for their money and all that kind of stuff. I think that's super important as well too. And I think a lot of that stuff makes a whole lot of sense too.
You need to create the content for the sponsors too, not only the podcast content. That's my point.
Yeah,
you need to create it.
Yeah,
because you need be prepared for sell spaces, for sell something.
Yeah.
Or my big problem with you, and we'll talk about it 100 times, is you never see the business, only see the what you are giving to the people.
Yeah. Well, listen. Yeah.
That always will be our problem.
Yeah.
I see the business. I see the money.
Yeah, I hear you. But I think this is where, because this is hilarious, but you can't have a business if you don't have people. That's business.
Absolutely.
Business is just an exchange between people. That's all. That's a business. It's just connections between people, and they make, an exchange, right? It's a value exchange.
Yeah, Victor, you don't see the problem there, but that's the problem when we talk. Kevin and I talk. We see the business and the content creation and the web agencies very different, because I always see I'm a capital pig. A capital pig. I don't care much about things. Yeah, I like the money.
Yeah.
Okay, and Kevin like
Nothing wrong with that.
Give free everything.
Well,
I don't have problem helping a friend, helping people.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem about it. But if it's a business, it's a business.
But
And a business needs money.
But do you not see the business advantage of giving away things for free, and then all of a sudden, no, hang on,
I don't.
hang on. Well, hang on. Let me finish. So do you see, not exactly
No.
free? So hang on. No, let me.
Hold on. Victor is saying something. Okay, not exactly free. No, I don't always want to give everything free.
Okay.
That's my big problem.
Okay.
Because he wants to spend thousands and thousands of hours of work hours for free.
But
That's why we have a big problem, big shock.
there's a return. Okay, so let's just role play this here for a little bit.
Okay.
So you're gonna say no, but where's the value in this? You give away information and content for free on your YouTube channel, and your information that you give away is so valuable that you end up building an audience of 1 million subscribers that listen intently every time you speak, because they know you're giving them true good value. So you've gotten $0, but you've built a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers. Now, from there, you decide to create a book or whatever the case may be. And for the after you spent all of that time,
3 years creating that audience.
Yes. So you've done 3 years, you've got no money, you write a book, and for the first time ever, you tell your audience, all the information that I've ever done for free, I've condensed it into this amazing book, and it's $50 or whatever. What if in that scenario, you are going to get tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, because you've given them so much value? And human beings, in terms of human psychology, we always are wired to reciprocate to people.
No,
you make sales where your book ends up your book ends up being on the New York Times bestseller. It's on the Amazon #1, all that kind of stuff. You don't see that there's value in that, and you make millions and millions of dollars on that one book sale by getting all that goodwill.
Victor is saying something.
That's the way, Rolando.
That's the only way.
Be successful.
That's the only way to create a business around.
So I think Victor is saying that for me. Yeah, the only way is to build the audience, to give away the good info.
The only way. The Victor is saying that the way to make a business in YouTube is giving thousands and thousands of hours without expect nothing around.
Yeah, it's not to say that you can't, because of course you can be a small YouTuber, give away the content for free. But hey, come to my website, buy my product, buy my this or that. You can of course you can do that.
Remember what I said a few minutes ago. Uh, you need to create a funnel, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is for free, nothing. If you are not selling a product, you are the product. So maybe you don't sell something in money, but maybe an email, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
contact. That is giving something for something.
Yeah, you collect
Are
email
giving
you
value.
collect email
Yeah,
addresses.
that's
Sure.
a price.
Yeah.
That's a price. The
Yeah.
email.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yes.
I got no problems with that. I
So
have no.
I you are selling something.
Yeah. I think I see what you're saying. I think you're looking at it from the angle of, yeah, there you go. I think you're looking from the angle of, I guess it's the value exchange, I think is what we're trying to say here, is that I'm going to give you this piece of content. And if you can give me your email address in exchange, and then maybe in the future I could give you more pieces of content from that, that's a good value exchange. And then from there, you can go ahead and build those relationships with those people that you give their email address
And then
to.
you have something to show to the sponsors.
For sure, 100%. Because then, I
So
mean,
it's not free.
some people make,
It's not free. And you are making the funnel
well,
for the final product that is the sponsors.
it can be. If it's that's a whole nother business model as well too. Because there's people that just do newsletters and they
It's
make
the
money
same
by
business
newsletters.
model.
Yeah, listen.
You need to polish the business model.
So so I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you saying it's
I can smoke it alive because you will be unmonetized.
oh no, don't.
Are you will open will you open a new channel for the podcast or you will be staying this one?
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep this one.
For the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, I can smoke him alive.
Oh, so if you smoke on YouTube, I guess. That's not good, eh? Because you get demonetized with that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not monetizable now, but I guess in the future, I guess they would.
Yes.
See it. But it would only be demonetizing that specific video, not the whole channel. But yeah, okay. Please, I guess we want to.
No, I would not.
I appreciate that. What's the topic for the podcast? So. Yeah, the podcast.
Everything and everything. Everything.
So the podcast.
If you want to speak with a Mexican with very bad English, you can speak with a Mexican
that's
Where are you from, Victor?
That's the podcast for you. So there's the studio is right here in this the office that I have here, Victor. But the podcast is going to be, well, see, this is very interesting. So I talked about this earlier. The why of what I'm doing in the unconventional mindset is about building the life that you want to build so that you can, live the best possible life that you can, right?
Hold your horse, please. The name of the podcast will be Unconventional Mindset.
Unconventional Mindset, yeah.
Okay, open a new channel.
This channel, those are the technical stuff. I haven't spent time to think about it, to be 100% honest, because this live stream is probably going to be called the same thing. And I want to have the live stream and the podcast probably on the same channel. So,
but you need to create a website and a channel around the name Unconventional Podcast. And you need to see, I think like a lawyer, you need to see in the trademark if that name is in
fake. Yeah, it's something I haven't taken a look at. You're really going into the legal stuff and the and the business aspect
of
it too.
Man.
Yeah,
it's a business.
So yeah, I haven't thought much about that to be 100% honest. But yeah, those little details I'll have to think about what's going to make the most sense, because maybe I could just call this channel Unconventional Mindset, but I think I'm going to be branding it as my own personal like Odoo, like it's on my website, and these are like the conversations that I'm having. So I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I already have the domain for Unconventional Mindset. I have that, so I need to do more work to figure out what that's going to look like. So that's like
Just check the trademark.
I didn't check the trademark. No.
Check it.
Yeah.
For just to prevent problems.
Yeah. So like I don't even know where to check a trademark. I don't even know. Anyways, I'll.
You can do it in internet.
But no, a trademark isn't that specific? Isn't that regional specific? Like there's no global trademark place, isn't that?
Yes.
There is. Oh, it's
global.
Okay, because I know when you're registering a corporation, you can register same corporate names in different jurisdictions, right? Depending on where you're. Well, some of them.
And trademark is
trademark global. Is okay. All right.
You can make it global or local.
Yeah. So Victor's saying, yeah, it doesn't matter right now. Yeah, it's not something that I'm totally concerned about at this stage of the game, if it's trademarked or not. I've never heard anybody. I mean, the fact that the domain was available says to me that's probably not that.
Don't you hear about the WordPress?
The fiasco.
Drama?
You know what? If I had WordPress and I was a multi 9-figure company or whatever, I'll pay the lawyers to worry about that at that stage of the game, right? So I'm not going to worry about that before I even write one line of code, in a sense. But yeah. So Victor, getting to your question, who's the target audience? So that's very difficult to say, but I think the target. No, I still want it to be more specific. The target audience for me are people that are feeling like they're not where they want to be with their life, and they want to figure out how they can do things to make themselves better. So whether that's feeling bad about your fitness, whether that's feeling bad about your job and not having the money that you want to have, whether it's about the relationships that you have, either with the opposite sex or whatever, an intimate relationship or your family, and whether
I'm gonna shut down the camera for a second.
Sure, and whether it's what am I thinking? You want to be able to do things that you can't do. Like say you want to learn how to play music, or you want to be an artist and you're like, I don't know how to start. So how to improve yourself. So that's the audience of the people that I think I would like to target. And I know that's so vague. Opposite sex. Come on, you gotta be more. I don't know. Well, whatever. Yeah, it could be whatever. The romantic, whoever you want to have a romantic relationship with, whatever. You do you. Whatever the case may be. So yeah. So there's a broad thing, because again, if you look at someone that just talks to a whole bunch of different people on a podcast, it is pretty broad. So I don't think it's very good that way. It would be nice to maybe. Like, I don't know if I should start more niche of just saying like, you know what, if you want to figure out how to build a business, maybe that's the way I could start, and then I could expand out. So you hear, Pat Flynn and whatever, the riches are in the niches, in a sense, or niches, whatever. So there's it makes a lot of sense for that. So yeah, so I don't know. Or maybe I just say, the hell with it. I'm just going to go ahead and talk to people that I think are super interesting, have great conversations, and throw it out there and, see what sticks. So I don't know. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. What are your thoughts? What do you think about that? Is it going to be too difficult to try to start a podcast that is more broad than it is to start something that's more niche? So you want to empower people to unlock their potential and live their best lives. Yeah. So when I started, I had my whole why statement, which was, let me just go back to it here real quick. So
what about?
It's the same thing here, to inspire people to become the best version of themselves so we can make the world a better place. So together we can all, get to where we want to be, and we could all be the best that we can be. So yeah.
Why not a Canadian lifestyle?
What's that? Sorry? No.
Canada lifestyle.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
I heard you. I said Canada something.
Lifestyle.
Oh, Lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
All around the Canada lifestyle, maybe about how to create a business, how to find job. Because Canada is mainly about migration.
Well, yeah, that's like you were saying before. There's you can make a podcast on Canadian politics, and
No about
no,
politics,
no, I know,
but
but
about the lifestyle.
yeah. So I don't know if I want to specifically limit myself to Canada, though. To be honest, because I don't see this as a Canadian problem. I see this as a global problem. Because I think, probably to be fair, is
What problem?
the problem of people not, being happy with their lives and people not living the life that they want to live.
Yeah, but the Hispanic American people or the Hispanic people have a very different way to see the world that is the Anglo people.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because we see the world in different language. It's a very, very different way to see things.
Yeah. Victor saying, I think that's a great topic. It's broad enough for a large audience and also very personal, what makes it relatable. Yeah. And I'm hoping, too, is the way that I want to start this, and again, Rolano's going to crucify me here because it's giving away value for free in a sense, for free. But it's about showcasing my own journey and my own travels towards living the life that I want to live. And that's also obviously super highly personable and hopefully, relatable to people that are like, yeah, you know what? I do also want to lose 50 pounds of weight. I too want to figure out how to make a business. So yeah, okay. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so Rolando, I do hear what you're saying in terms of having different cultures in different areas of the world that could potentially think things differently. But at least in Canada, United States, we're very, very similar. So at least that audience, I mean, is 10 times larger than Canada. So I wouldn't want to shut that potential audience out at the start and just do like a Canadian lifestyle kind of thing. Because a lot of the things that I have been talking about and thinking about really have nothing to do with Canada. Unless it's about hockey, I guess, or maple syrup. Other than that, I try to leave things as relatable as possible to basically anybody.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you should kind of be the person to share your stories of growth to build trust. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Building trust. And it's a really kind of crass word, but like authority. It sounds a little bit too. Yeah, not great, but it's like you build trust and you build authority, right? So when you have that, and then when you finally go for the ask of like, hey, sign up for my membership thing, sign up for my course, or buy my book, or whatever the case may be, you have that trust and you have that authority for people to be like, yeah, you know what? I've been listening to you for 6 months and I really like what you're doing. I've been subscribed to your newsletter. Yeah, I'll spend $20 and buy your book or whatever the case may be. So Rolando, we'll have to talk at some point too, once we get to the point where we're going to do business and start trying to generate some income here, what might be the best ways to go forth and do that.
Yeah, whatever you want. Okay, maybe I call you the Friday because I need you expertise about some website I'm building on.
Okay.
It's a very personal website and I need to some help with the design.
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm happy to help. Do what I can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, this is the end of the call. I hope everybody is laughing about my English and laughing about the topic we are talking.
No, I didn't see anybody laughing about your English.
Maybe not. Maybe yes. I don't care because we're speaking with we are talking to between two friends.
Yeah.
From a different countries, from a different point of view.
Yeah.
So that's not a big issue.
Yeah.
It's something we should do every few weeks, maybe a few months.
Yeah.
Have a video call between all of us. Victor from Germany.
So you hit the nail on the head too in terms of one of the things that I want to be to build. And when I say
create a worldwide community.
Yeah. So when I say of the different things of what I could potentially do to monetize is this membership thing that I have here, and where I have office hours. That could be a thing. Like I said, it's a Zoom call or something like this where we can get together and people that are members, we can all have a call and we could just talk. You know, it's not live or it's not anything. It's just between us and we're just having conversations because like-minded people that are trying to do whatever it is that they're trying to do in their life, we could bounce ideas off of each other, ask questions, learn from each other, have a beer together, whatever the case may be, right? So it's absolutely something that is fantastic, and I'm happy that you joined today, and you know Kevin joined as well too. That's amazing, and that's kind of the thing that I want to do here as well, is to kind of create that place for us to connect. So I really appreciate that. And Victor from Germany, everyone.
Maybe the next time, put the link public in the chat. So if someone want to join the talk, they can join.
Oh yeah, in the Zoom, yeah. I didn't think about that. But I also want to be careful too. I don't want to just broadcast a Zoom link, and then people could see it, and then you could run into problems if people kind of join, and you know what I mean? They're just going to showcase some bad stuff or whatever.
You can just block.
Well, I know. I know you can, so but I never thought about that. But yeah, it's so what? Well, you know, there's been some stories of people doing stuff on Zoom and people getting in and not doing nice things through Zoom.
The next time, please publish topic and we can speak all about the topic.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
maybe a Twitter space.
I've never done that before. Yeah, that's
they're a very, very popular thing right now.
Yeah, and that's all
spaces.
It's all
very, very popular.
It's all audio, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are very popular right now.
Yeah.
And it's a very good way to find audience, find people, and have some listening.
Just have conversations.
And people and conversation, interact with the audience. Have a good, very, very good way to create content.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good thing. I haven't even thought about that, but yeah, that's a really good idea, especially if we're going out on social media and just having conversations kind of outside the
social
formal.
Media and I have a problem. You don't have a social media.
I gotta fix that if I want to create a social media empire.
You don't even have an Instagram, man.
Yeah, I know. I know that's gonna change. The business will have one, but yeah, no, I know. So
you need to create one personal too, because people like to work with people.
Yeah, that's true.
With business.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think you're right there. Victor and Kevin, I do have a question. How was Rolano's audio coming through? I know Kevin, you said it was a little bit light, but I think I turned it up, so it should be pretty good. But I'd love to know just quickly whether the levels were good.
The next time I connect my microphone. I fix my earphones.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Rolando, thank you so much for stopping in. Again, really appreciate that. All right, perfect. And just give me a shout whenever you want to connect again for some design work.
Yeah, send you out, man.
Okay, perfect. All right, take care.
Take care.
All right. That was awesome. Thanks again, Rolando, for tuning in, for joining and having that conversation. That was really great. Yeah, very much appreciated. And it really makes me feel as if it's really on the right track here in terms of having guests on the live stream, interacting with people, having a podcast, talking to people. I don't know, for me, I just have so much more fun in engaging with people, and it's really great. So I'm just another thing to happen to make me know that yes, this is going in the right direction. This is going to be really good. I enjoy doing this. So this is really good. So thank you so much for that. Sound was good. Okay, perfect. So I'm liking this new soundboard. It's definitely so much more complicated than something like a Rodecaster Pro or whatever, but I really enjoying it. So lots of different input stuff. I'm gonna input my piano on here too. And then I can't play piano, but maybe one of these days when I can. But anyways, lots of cool things with that. All right. So I think now I think we're good, unless Rolando comes in something else where we can have another an hour and a half long conversation. But I think we're good. I think I hear that my family's back as well too. So let's find out what happened. I think my daughter came back from an what is the person that does stuff with teeth? Oh my goodness. Oh, what's the people that do stuff with teeth? No, not it wasn't. No, it's not a dentist. Orthodontist. I started with an O. So, yeah, orthodontist. Yeah, no, special for like braces and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, dentist. Yes, thanks. What is this guy? Doesn't know what a dentist is. Yeah. All right. Anyways, I'll see how that appointment went. All right, guys. So Victor, Kevin, Rolando, and also somebody you poked on and said hello, Libania. I just saw something there. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Very much appreciate it. And again, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to live stream next. For sure next Monday, but it's going to be a little bit all over the place as we get our studio and get everything kind of set up here. So at the latest, you'll see from me again next Monday. So until then, have yourself a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and I will see you back here again on Monday for a new stream. All right, guys. Thank you once again. We'll see you next time.